Hi, this is Dr. Michelle Warren, Program Chair of the Masters in Teaching and Learning with Technology. And I just want to give a brief overview of the concepts and ideas from the book Leading Change Step by Step by Jody Spiro. So according to Spiro, she has a really great quote about change. Change can be a dynamic and positive force for creating new strategies and putting them into action, stimulating creativity, diversity, learning, and growth. But change also includes a deliberate disruption of the status quo. Change, if you think about it, change inherently means you're changing what is currently going on, the status quo. So as a leader, you have to really be intentional with this change. You have to really understand what's not working and have a very good idea of how you're going to make that improvement. And not only that, but as a leader, as you're making the change, you have to be reflective all along the way. How's it going? Are people accepting it? Is the change going the way we planned? And you have to be able to, in the middle of this change process, make corrections, mid-course corrections along the way. Spiro suggests there are 8 steps to change. In step 1, you have to kind of think about what is it that you want to change and how are you going to make that change? What is the change strategy that gives you the biggest effect, the biggest bang for your buck? What she means by domino effect is if you go very high level with your change, you're going to fix and improve other issues all the way around that organization and all around that change. So you want to go high level with your change so that the smaller issues get fixed as well. Okay? You also need to get really, really specific on what is going to demonstrate the change along the way. What are the milestones, benchmarks? What are we going to accomplish step by step that are going to help determine the changes being made, and how long are those benchmarks and those changes going to take? Number 2, assess readiness. Are the people ready for this change? Yes, no, and how do we get them ready for the change? How do we bring it about? Number 3, analyze the stakeholders. Now, a lot of times people think stakeholders are just the people immediately within this who are being, immediately impacted by the change. But in fact, pretty much the entire organization is the stakeholder. You have to think about how broad do you want to get with your stakeholder analysis. So you've got the people who are immediately impacted by the change, but what about the clients? Or the students? Those are the external stakeholders, possibly. And then you've got the administrators and supervisors. Those people are internal stakeholders that are also going to be impacted by the change. You need to get everybody kind of analyzed and on board with this change if you can do it. You also want to think about what are the motivations for the stakeholders. Do they have motivations to hang on to the status quo? How can you change that motivation to help them accept the change? How resilient are they? Are they going to be able to adapt to what's going on around them? Do they agree with it? Do they champion this change? In step 4, again, minimizing resistance. This ties right into the stakeholders. You want to assess the tolerance for resistance and for a willingness to change. And this one I really like. Secure a small early win. How smart is that? So think about if I can get a win in early, everybody's like, yeah, that's really great. It's a small thing, but I start to feel like maybe this change strategy is going to work. Maybe it's something I do want. So if you get that small early win in that everybody's going, yeah, this is great, then you start to change minds and get people on board with the change process. Number 6, engage the key players in the planning phase. So this is where you get the championship and agreement. If you include all the key people who are involved in this change in the collaborative planning process, then you get buy-in, you get transparency, everybody's on the same page, you all kind of go down the road together. Number 7, scaling and sustaining the change strategy. So you've got this idea about what you're going to do. How do you think through the whole thing, plan out the entire thing? Where are the resources? Where are the people? Who's going to do what when? And you just have to really fund the change, make sure there's enough funding and resources to sustain that change over time, and really think it through. Number 8, build in ongoing monitoring and course corrections. So again, how's it going along the way? Are we hitting our milestones? Are we achieving what we thought we were going to achieve? What do we need to change along the way? How can we fix it? And also knowing that change is always going to be constant and continuous. Just because we've got this big change action plan, it's going to impact for years to come the organization. Okay? So now we're going to talk a little bit about strategies and actions, okay? So if you think about a strategy is like, okay, I've got this big idea for change. Here are the strategic things that I have to do to make this change. And usually, depending on how big the change is, 2, 3, maybe 4 strategies that will get you to that larger change. So if you want to implement technology in your school, strategies might be, making sure that internet and computers are in every room. That's one strategy. Another might be hiring a technician, hiring a IT guy to support the technology, right? And another might be training the faculty and the students on how to use the new technology. So those are 3 strategies right there that get you to bringing technology into the school. So the change activity is bringing technology to the school, 3 strategies to get you there, okay? So the strategy is broad, but then if you take one of those strategies, what are the action steps to get you to achieve that? So an action step for conducting training for faculty and students are, one action step is training the faculty, so you've got to develop the training. Maybe you hire somebody, so an action step might be hire a trainer to put together a training for the faculty. Another action step might be set up a 2-day workshop for faculty in the summer and get them, in that workshop. You see how those action steps get you to getting the faculty trained? So those are kind of the things that support that change strategy. With strategic action, you got to be clear about what problem needs to be solved and think about what are the strategies that get you to that change. Another thing that's really important is you have to think about the organization's core purpose. What is the mission? Why is this change support the organization and its goals and mission? Okay? Then also, why is this strategy going to work? Why do I think training faculty is going to get them to where they're going to use that technology in the classroom? It might be that I go around and ask faculty, hey, if we had technology, would that be helpful to you? And everybody says, yeah, that'd be great. I'm all over it. Then that strategy is going to work. Training the faculty will work because they want it. Okay, what does success look like? Maybe with training faculty, it might be that they are now able to use this technology in the classroom. Okay, so then again, what are the milestones? Did we hire the trainer? Did we set up the class time? Those are the milestones. Did they get trained? Are they using the new technology? Those are all milestones along the way. Okay, so again, I'm sorry to repeat myself. So again, you wanted this change to map to the mission statement or the organizational goal. If you don't have a mission statement, try to put together an organizational goal, an overall goal, the kind of the main essential function of that organization. And it might not be your big company, the company's mission. It might be your department's mission. Or if you're thinking about a school system, it might not be the whole school system's mission. It might be just a little goal within the school to teach students, to prepare students for careers of the future, right? Something like that, right? So if you're a department, if you're a small department, you might have a small training goal that you're trying to accomplish here, or, to ensure that all our employees are up to speed in the latest procedures, right? Something like that, okay? So again, the change needs to be broad enough to impact other issues and problems along the way. You want that domino effect. You want to fix other stuff with this big change. You want to fix all these other issues and problems that have been kind of bugging everybody for a long time, things that have not been working right, okay? It has to be feasible. You got to have the resources, time, people budget to be sustainable across the entire change process. And again, you have to reassess it throughout the change. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is jump over to the template that you have for this week's activity, and you're going to put in a full description of your organization and the mission and vision, again, for your department where this change is taking place. So it doesn't have to be the whole company of 50,000 people or 10,000 people. It would be better to have this mission vision more specific to your department and what is your departmental goals, okay? And then what is the change? Describe that thoroughly. And then you go to this strategy action chart, okay? So again, you're going to have maybe 2-3 strategies, and then you're going to think about the steps to accomplishing that strategy. So you're going to describe that strategy pretty clearly so that we know, that we want faculty to be trained, and describe that pretty well. And then what is the first action? First action is going to be hire a trainer. Okay, who's going to do that? How long is that going to take? How will you know that this has been accomplished? Well, the trainer is on board and they've developed their training and they're ready to go. Okay, what is the second action? Getting the faculty into a workshop. Who's responsible? What's the timeline? Do you see how this works? Okay, so I have a great example of that. I'm going to just jump right over to that one. Hold on one second. Here we go. All right. First of all, then we've got the workbook from Spiro, and this is the workbook with the introduction. And then she has all the steps to change, the 8 steps that I went over right here in this intro. And notice the little tools that are provided to help you through these changes, through thinking through change. These tools are great. So right now you're at this first step. What is the desired change? Why do you want to make this change? How do you know if you succeeded? What are the benchmarks? So kind of just really thinking through everything that it's going to take to make this change. So you're in the planning stage right now. Okay, so here's this example of a student's work. So again, they've developed the, hang on, let me get there. Nice introduction. What is, a little bit about the company. How big is the company? What is the problem? High attrition rates. You're losing students. This person's a trainer working with tellers. I'm assuming bank tellers. And so then there's an inconsistency in the way that the tellers are providing service. Organization description, brief description, and then the mission and vision of the organization. So exceptional client service, operational excellence, commitment. So in this case, they had the overall large concept of the mission. That's okay too, if you want to do that, rather than just your small department or organization. So a description, a very succinct description of the onboarding, of the needed change, improving onboarding practices for tellers to reduce attrition and increase retention. So we have, what is the change? Why is the change? Okay, so what is the change? Why is the change? That's what we want. Okay, now here's the first strategy. Get a good onboarding experience that integrates new employees, okay? How are we going to get there? Look at what other onboarding procedures other companies are using. The trainer and HR people are going to be responsible for this. How long is this going to take to research this, okay? Action 2, create an onboarding model that sets the standard practice for the organization. So so on and so forth, right? So that takes time to create that model, okay? Strategy 2, provide an onboarding checklist or playbook for managers and new hires. So you not only are you doing training for new hires up here in strategy 1, but now you're also getting the managers and new hires involved in their own onboarding process with this checklist or playbook. That's super smart, okay? And then activities around that. And then building a partnership between recruiters, managers, and new hires. So not only are you doing the training, you're getting the managers, the HR, and the new employees involved in collaboratively supporting the onboarding process. Okay? So hopefully that gives you an idea of kind of what we're looking for and gives you a better idea of what it is that you want to do to improve your own organization. And again, don't go too big. You don't want to do any more, take something small that you can take with you through this course. A small change or intervention, you'll find that that would be plenty to take you through the rest of the course. So thank you very much, and we look forward to your success in EDU 658.